Stay tuned for another episode of the Coming Soon podcast with Spider.
There we go. Hello, everybody. Spider here, Coming Soon podcast. Of course, we are live, and I'm here with the film crew from Dyngus Day Feature Film. Everybody, I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy, so this is great. Thank you all for jumping on. Of course, I had asked earlier as far as everybody being from the East Coast. Everybody does live in the area, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And now, when it comes to the film, because once again, we've talked about it the first time I had some of the guests on here, and I had no clue what Dyngus Day was. So this is something new to me, and it's going to be something new to everybody. Now, my question, and of course, I'm going to be picking and choosing just to see what you guys think as far as what the answer is. But I'm going to start with Joe because, of course, she was the last one here. So I'm going to put you on the spot. But because of the name, let me ask you, do you think that's going to be hard to get across when it comes to pushing the film, promoting the film?
Oh no, I think that it's perfect for this area actually. It's a lot of Polish communities, so I think a lot of people will be interested because of the name.
No, I mean, I didn't think about that, but yeah, they're going to be curious as far as what the heck Dyngus Day is, because like I said, I personally had no clue. But well, with that being said, I mean, of course, when it came to writing, thinking about making the film, and I'm gonna go ahead and go with Golden on this one. But in the beginning, I mean, this was something that you guys wanted to make and to create into like a classic cult film, to where people every year it's gonna be like Die Hard, come Christmas, you want to watch it, So this is something that you guys are hoping it's gonna do just that. So Golden, I mean, once again, I think I might have asked you the first time I had you guys on here. But how much have you personally been promoting the film to make it that? I mean, as far as getting it out there.
I'd say almost annoyingly. And as it gets closer and closer, I get more like abrasive with how I bring it up. Like for now, it'll be if someone's talking about Dyngus Day or horror movies, I'll bring up that we're making this. And any of these guys I've seen from my on Facebook, as we get closer and closer to the premiere, it just becomes like people will be like, oh, my cat's birthday was today. And I was like, what would be just like a cat's birthday? Dyngus Day. You should come to the premiere. And it doesn't matter what they're talking about. I'll just go right in with it and make a meme usually and throw it in there. So
The memes are
for
great.
sure. And let me ask, I mean, these are just going to be random questions about the film and as far as what you guys have done. And I'm going to go with Heather on this one. But when it comes to the film, I mean, your character, how was it hard for you to get in character for the movie?
It honestly was not, because I had some good conversations with Paul, and I would have been concerned if it was your average cheerleader, but when he said that he kind of tried to break all the stereotypes and she was actually the only one who had any sense of what was actually going on, I was like, oh, okay, I got this.
Nice. And of course, I mean, being a close knit, and for the most part, I would say you guys know each other through the circle. I mean, when it comes to film, so was it that much easier? And I'm going to go with Mark. Was it that much easier for you to be in the film, knowing that you already had a movie relation with others on there?
Well, to be honest, I'm kind of like the last member that September Brothers has kind of recruited into its little family, the most recent one. So that's it's not my question to answer, but
okay.
I can say that they're incredibly welcoming, and yes, knowing people individually has helped a hell of a lot.
Okay, cool, man. No, and of course, I mean, because you guys are going to be filming, you're going to get to know each other even more, probably more than you all want to, but still, it's going to be one of those things that might, bring you back for other films as far as, having the others jump on. But I'm going to go next question, of course, and Jesse Powers. My man, they said you had an interesting story, man, how you got on there, so I want to hear about that.
It was supposed to be for like their short collection of films, The Skeleton's Allophone. And I talked to Paul about being a part of it. And he's like, yeah, come on, I'll have you as an extra, no lines, whatever. I guess they had someone in mind before who had lines that did not make it. So Paul asked me to read the script And before I even got to my first line, Paul told me, yeah, you're gonna have an egg shoved up your ass. So there's gonna be something like that along the lines. Like, I'm fine with that. And he said, it seems like you've done this before. I do not. I'm just trying my best.
We made sure you signed the waiver first.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
yeah.
man, what
Fuck
kind of
eggs.
warranty? Man, and of course, for the sexy director, you know, Mike, we got Mike in the center. How appropriate, right? Right in the center, man. That's pretty cool. But when it comes to doing your job, I mean, being out there and filming, you know, how hard or how easy is it for you to be able to direct and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to?
Well, first of all, I do want to. I'm going to put on the back of the box the Die Hard of Dyngus Day now, somewhere on the DVD.
There you go.
But as for my directing style, I like to let all the actors kind of like own their characters. So like if we're always open where if someone like knows their character more and has like a suggestion that might not have been fully in the script or might not have been what I had in my mind, but I like it better, we're always really open to let them kind of own their characters and make it their own. And we think that's one of the positives of working with us. It could be completely false, but I think that is.
Man, and of course, I was gonna say, depending on how well they do, I mean, there might be a sequel, so of course, you know, they might come back, right? Depending if they don't die off on this one, of course.
Even if they do.
Hey, character, right?
That's the magic of the Dyngus.
Yes, the magic of film. They either come back as themselves or the mysterious twin.
There you go. And of course, not last question, but I mean, as far as I'm gonna keep going on with Paul. Writing, I mean, as far as being a writer and actor, and of course being the superhero, of course, you know, no cape, but you know, we all don't need one. But as far as the film itself, I mean, obviously you guys are going to be working on filming. Is that going to influence you or motivate you as far as for another sequel, or if there is going to be a sequel, or for another film in particular?
I would definitely do this movie inspired me so much. Working with Michael and Golden and working with these other like I've worked with Heather before, and seeing what they've brought to the roles, I would definitely in a second. I would even if it wasn't a Dyngus Day movie, I would do another project with everybody in this. Honestly, everybody in the film so far. There has not been a single person that I've gone. I just like Mike was saying, watching what they've done to the characters. You know, I've learned that you can write something, but it doesn't make it good unless you've got a strong person doing it. Right. And just even knowing what I know about the people, I've still been pleasantly surprised by everybody. I can't say that enough, how happy I am with what I've seen. And I know I speak for Mike and Golden on this one. We've just been gleefully delighted with just the fun they brought to the characters, to the camera, to the roles. It's been amazing. So yeah, in a second, I would write for these guys, any of these people again.
No, for sure. Now, once again, I'm going to keep going on. Mark, I mean, you were saying you're the newest one in the group. As far as experience from prior experience, I mean, what have you done prior to this film? What have you worked on?
I have done a lot, I would think. a lot of feature films where I generally play a villain or a charismatic douchebag, to be honest. Yes. I've been doing a lot of things over the past several years to the point that I have 2 features that are going to be released it's premiered actually in the upcoming film festival in September, where I play the lead on both. You know, it's nice.
Now, let me ask you on that note, when it comes to, of course, I mean, the experience, you do have it, getting into film. Let me ask you, I mean, was this something that you were looking towards? I mean, was it just a hobby at the beginning, or was it just something you wanted to try?
Well, it started off with comedy, you know, because I love comedy. And then it went to improv, and then it went to theater, which was a really great way to start an acting kind of vibe and career, because that repetition is, you know, it's very helpful to learn. Then I decided, you know, work on camera was a lot more rewarding, and these film families are tighter knit, and also you can redo your takes, which is great. So I I don't think I'm going back to theater. I like film too much.
Nice, man. And that's I'm gonna say this for the next question, but for sure I'm gonna keep moving. But thank you, brother. Now, Joe. I mean, of course, once again, you were the. I'm gonna keep bringing this up, but you were the last one to join the live, so thank you for jumping. But when it comes to the movie itself, I mean, I talked about the name and if it was gonna be hard to progress and kind of promote. Now, when it comes to movies, and I do apologize. I mean, a lot of you guys, I'm not gonna know a lot of the backstory as far as your experience, but when it comes to movie, my question is: would you prefer a horror film? I mean, when it comes to being in the movie.
Oh, see, I love horror. I've done all sorts of genres, but something about being killed off on screen is just too much fun.
Well, that's that. I mean, of course, I love horror as well. So that's for me to do the same thing. I'm like, dude. I mean, even if they kill me first, I'll get to enjoy the rest of the filming. So that'd be pretty cool. But man, I was gonna ask Jesse a question, but he disappeared on me. So
anyone else enjoying his journey through?
Yeah.
Where's he going now?
I'm on my own journey.
I expected him to get into the car and just drive.
I can tell you a thing or two
Keep
about
behind
journeys.
Golden the entire time.
Man, Jesse, I was gonna go up to you, my man. Let me ask you if there was an actor that you would have to play a double in a film, who would it be?
I've been told this so many times that it looked like the guy who played Zero in Holes, so I'd be his double.
Nice, man. There you go. I can see that for sure. Cool, man. Well, that's dude. That's pretty awesome. Actually, maybe this will get you a gig on that. We'll see. We'll see how we can
Maybe.
do that.
I can't unsee that now.
Man. Now, of course, once again, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go with Golden on the film. I mean, there's a history behind it, like you had said. I mean, it's a local thing when it comes to where you guys are from. Now, the film I have brought up, and of course, Mike was saying, he's going to put Die Hard on there, but I'm thinking the sequel should be either the day after Dyngus or the day before Dyngus or something. I don't know. I mean, what would you say if there was a sequel in the making? I mean, what would be a good title for it?
Well, anytime I've ever thought about doing sequels, I've always wanted to put Electric Boogaloo in the title, just because I feel like it has to be. But also, I think when Mike and I had the first movie that we made was The First Date, and I think we were joking around about sequels to that, and we were gonna call it The First Date Electric Boogaloo or something like that. So whatever it'll be, when we do a sequel, the title will be just absolutely ridiculous.
Nice, man, nice.
Something like Dyngus Day Electric Boogaloo. Always Electric Boogaloo has to be in there, though. And I'm gonna at some point make a movie that has Electric Boogaloo in the title.
I like it, man. It reminds me. I think it was breakdancing. I forgot that name. The film,
Breaking 2.
There you go. Sure, I'm a fan, so I can see that. Now I'm gonna go as far as Heather. Once again, as far as filming, I mean, of course, you've had experience as being in films. Now, if there was ever an opportunity, and say they were to say, okay, you know what, you can either co-star in a big film, it's going to be all over the world as far as big office hit, or you can be a director per se. And of course, I'm not throwing that at Mike, but which would you pick and why?
I would much rather act. I actually recently started creating my own stuff, and it was exactly as hard as I expected. My passion is definitely not directing, but I can do it out of necessity.
Nice. Well, that's a good question. And of course, I mean, I would assume, I always think there's an evolution when it comes to films. I mean, a lot of times, and I've said this before, I don't think it's so much that what the role that you guys pick, but it picks you guys, because it might be something that, one day you're holding the mic or holding the camera and you're like, man, I think I'd rather do this, so that's interesting. But of course, I'm going to keep moving on. Well, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and open the forum. But when it comes to say, being in this film, I mean, of course, you guys got to, work and read and work with each other when it comes to, the film itself. Let me ask you, who feels like, say, if we were to switch the roles, say if I were to say, okay, you know what, Heather, we're going to switch you with Joe. Would you feel comfortable to do a switch at the last minute?
As far as taking her role?
Right, and this is for a question for both of you. I mean, how would that work? Like, if they were to say, you know what, I think we're gonna go ahead and switch the roles. I mean, would you think?
I would. I feel like I can put my spin on pretty much anything.
Oh,
I am
we
confident
lost
in my
Paul.
ability to do a cartwheel.
Oh,
No one mentioned me having to do a cartwheel. Where'd that come from?
You signed the waiver. Paul's now writing it into the script. That's why he left. He was like, time to write in doing a
before
cartwheel.
it gets bad. But yeah, I mean, I was just curious. But I mean, Joe, I mean, would you feel the same thing? I mean, if they were to say, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and switch it up. I mean, we're gonna switch
Yeah, no,
characters.
definitely.
Cool, man. And the reason I ask is because a lot of times, and I think Mike had brought it up earlier. You know, when it comes to not so much that you got to put your own spin, but I mean, it does change the character. For me, it's always one of these films that, you know, I look up and it pops up and they're like, oh, so and so had tried out for the lead role, and I'm thinking like, damn, I wonder how different that movie would have been if, you know, this other actor would have played it, because of course they're going to bring their own spin and have their own input. So it's always just something I'm kind of like, man, I always wonder, you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep moving on, and thank you, ladies, for answering that. Let me see, Mike. You know, of course, you know, being the director, you're not in the center anymore. Of course, we lost one, so now you're a little bit to my right. But you know, being a director, I mean, of course, this is something that, you know, you're working on. I mean, you have a lot of pride in, I'm sure, you know. But is something else out there for you? You think? I mean, as far as being an actor, being a writer, being contributing in other ways.
I'm definitely more of a behind the camera person. I can't remember a line to save my life. Every movie I'm in, I play a character, Spicy Bob. It's kind of like my cameo character. And the first time we filmed that, it was just trying to get like, I think one paragraph, and it was like a couple sentences. I couldn't remember it. So I'll just stay behind the camera, get my stupid Spicy Bob cameo, and then just disappear again.
The number of takes it took for him to get a sugar cube into his mouth was amazing.
Yeah, that was something.
I was going to say, that's when you put yourself at the first kill, that way you can, you know, get out of the film and do what you do, man. But of course, once again, I mean, of course, and everybody having experience. I mean, I'm sure it's happened maybe in the beginning or even recently where you've had to play another role, or maybe somebody doesn't show up and they're like, hey, I need a sound person. You know, you have to grab a mic or do other. Is that something that you guys think is actually beneficial for what you guys are doing? And this is for the open forum.
I think that that's something that we do pretty good. We roll pretty well with the punches when we've had stuff. When we made a movie, we had a movie 2 movies ago. It was Darkness Binds, and someone that we were looking very forward to working with, unfortunately passed away. And I actually went to Paul, because he's good friends with him, and asked,
right here.
yes, right in there, asked how do you think we should, you know, go ahead with this? And we changed the character's name to be named after him, and it was a priest. And Paul also had guided us on ways to make the character more like the actor and what he would have liked. So, I mean, I think and then of course we have Jesse, as he just showed up, and we're like, hey, we're gonna put some eggs in your butt, and he rolled with that really well, went from being an extra to that. And I think one thing we've been doing really good is whatever, if we need someone to jump in and do something, you know, they've been pretty good at doing it. Like Kristen, our producer, there's been a couple of times where our sound guy couldn't make it there, so she ran sound as well,
Nice.
while trying to keep us on track, which is really hard to do when me and Paul are in a room
Just
together.
add real quick that Jesse also played a footstool in the same movie.
I can be a prop.
My footstool.
Yes,
Her footstool.
Heather's footstool in the short that was in Skeleton Xylophone that will be our next feature film, actually, after Dyngus Day.
Sweet, man. And man, Jesse, is that on your IMDb profile?
It's definitely going to be. I got to work
There
that
you
out.
go. I have this thing at work where I work in building maintenance, and every time they ask me to do something outside the box, I'm like, man, I'm putting that on my resume. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to put it on there, you know, keep learning. But yeah, let me ask, I mean, as far as everybody, you know, holding a day job, everybody doing something else, I mean, of course, my biggest thing, I mean, is always like, man, if I were to hit the lottery and do this full time, or just be able to get out there. Now, without seriously, and this is an open forum, you guys hit the lottery, individually. Everybody hits the lottery tomorrow. 1.5 million. What's one of the first things you would do? And I'll start with Golden. I'll go Golden, and we'll go down.
Would open a brewery with Mike. Actually, we've talked about it.
At
That
length.
if somehow we came into big money, we would call it September Brothers to go with our theme that we already have for the thing. But yeah, we would do a brewery, and also, of course, be able to actually focus on making a movie and have that be our main thing would be huge, obviously.
Nice. Sweet, man. And Jesse, what about you, man?
I have no idea what I'd do with that kind of money. I just stare at it and be like, no, I can't have this. I don't know what to do.
Well, if you don't want it, you can pass it over here. We'll give it to one of the other guys. I'm sure they want it. You'll take it.
Gladly.
Man. Mark, what are you thinking?
2 words. An emu ranch.
That's 3 words. And emu.
Oh, yes. Out of that, I take all of my friends on a nice big vacation overseas somewhere, like a long one, and pay their 2 weeks of salary or whatever it was that they would have lost out. So it was like that they never missed any work.
Nice. And of course, it would be what they miss out as far as that 40-hour week, right? No overtime.
Yeah.
Now, Heather, what about yourself?
I would probably get my house fixed and look at starting a family. Probably the biggest reason I haven't is the economy. So I feel like it would enable me to do that.
Nice.
Have you thought about just adopting Paul? He's housebroken already.
There you go.
He's doing great on his own.
He just breaks the house.
I'm a big boy.
He
Man.
sends me
The
all
kind of
the animal
encouragement my real
videos.
mom never gave me.
No, we're gonna go with Mike. What about yourself, sir? What are you thinking?
I would probably build a big house with a giant fence that says "Go away" on the side of it, and probably maybe a warehouse where I'd make movies, and then work the brewery with Golden.
There you go.
I like to travel a lot, so I would say I would travel the world quite a bit.
They know you, so I'm sure they'd open the tab. Man, we're gonna go with Joe. What about yourself?
Yeah, no, just thinking about it right now, there's because of my work day, I was like, I don't have time for these other things I want to work on. One of which is I made a film. I also made some more scripts, and I'm like looking at these scripts, just like mocking me. I was like, if I had the time and the money to be able to like actually produce them, that's probably what I would do.
Nice. Cool, man. Very, very good. Paul, what are you thinking?
Well, I was having a talk with a friend of mine the other day, and housing just costs suck so bad that I would buy a huge estate. One for me, because I don't want to live with people, but then I would have all these other places that I would pretty much just let my friends live in.
Nice.
And then this is what I would do full time. This has always been my passion, writing and producing and helping other people to make their movies. I would love to do this full time. I'm grateful to have jobs. I'm grateful to be working, but I would love to be able to pursue this.
No, for sure. And of course, I mean, after this, everybody's got to go buy a ticket, by the way. So I'm gonna wish you guys luck. But yeah, it's one of the things I've always asked. I always tell people, like me being here in San Antonio. I mean, I've lived in Florida, I lived in Atlanta, Georgia for a minute. And I always wanted to travel the world. And I would tell my kids, I have 2 daughters, and I would tell my youngest, like, man, I always wanted to travel the world. And for some reason, God knew I couldn't. So he brought the world to me, because I've been fortunate to meet a lot of people here from, being in San Antonio, it's the military city, USA. So the base, bring people from all sorts of life when it comes to a different country. So I just thought that was cool, And of course, I said that. When I said that, it just popped in my head. But I was just like, man, it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to keep using it. But of course, I mean, for myself, I always thought investment. And I always told people, like, people would always like, oh, if I had the money, I would have a movie theater in my house. Well, I'm the opposite. I would buy a theater and I would make one room my house, so that way I would always live there. And it'd be an investment. So of course, it'd be people coming out here watching films. It'd be horror all day. So that'd be my biggest perk, just But definitely, I would definitely do that and support indie films, man. I mean, that's one of the things. I would always have room for people wanting to, put their film on the big screen and just be able to, keep making capital and keep promoting you guys, because it's a full circle, So I can't be here without you guys and fans and actors and actresses, of course. So it helps everybody. But okay, that was one of my questions, of course. Now going back, I mean, as far as the film itself, I'm gonna go with Jesse. Dyngus Day. I mean, like I keep bringing it up, but I had no idea what it was. It is gonna be set to be viewed by the world. Once it's being out there and being streamed and all. For yourself, I mean, do you celebrate Dyngus Day now? I mean, is it something that you?
I'll be honest, I still have no idea exactly what it is, even being from Mexico. And I remember telling my mom about this, because my stepmom, and she's Polish. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Dyngus Day, so she got all excited about that. I was like, I still don't know what it is. When I think about Dyngus Day, I think like dingus is like an insult you call somebody.
Oh man, well that's good to know, man. I mean, because I'm from San Antonio, or Texas, right? And people always bring up the Cowboys and the Spurs, and I'm not a big sports guy, so I'm like, okay, yeah, don't really care if they win or lose, but yeah, I'm not a big fan, so I can relate to that, man. So for sure. Right. Now I'm gonna go with Mark. Of course, we had talked about the film. I mean, you being experienced, having experience with other films as well. Now, if say you were to win the lottery, right? Say you want to do what you do, and you have the opportunity to actually be the main character in a big action movie. Now, say they're like, okay, we want to remake Speed, or not Speed, but Fast and the Furious for some reason, right? It's like on part 50 now. But would you cast yourself as the main character, or would you be comfortable being the co-host on that?
I mean, first off, I want to say that, yeah, sure, I have a lot of experience, but everybody else here does too. They have experience that far surpasses my own in a lot of different ways. But yes. Are you asking if I would rather be like a co-star or like the actual
co-star? Yes, co-star or the actual star itself.
I feel like if I was funding the film, I would definitely want to be, the co-star, because I'd have more creative control in the film, and plus, why cast myself as the main character? It's kind of like a smarmy move in my eyes. If I'm funding it.
Well, it'd be your money, so why not, right? Be like, hey.
Right. I mean, yeah, but like.
Cool. Well, that's good to know, man. I mean, of course, some people feel comfortable. I mean, others don't. But I mean, hey, why not, man? The opportunity's there. Take it. We're gonna go with Paul. I mean, of course, you want to live alone. You want to have your big mansion. You want the isolation. Myself, I'm always out there. I do media coverage for combat sports. I'm always at conventions. I like being out, but I don't like being out, as awkward as that is. I prefer the solitude of my own home as well. Now, for yourself, I mean, if you had that opportunity, say, when it comes to having your own space, now, is there a movie that you can come up with for that?
Oh, isolation. Yeah, I think so. When it comes to creative stuff, I want as many people involved as possible. I don't think that's a solitary thing. I'm just talking about me time. Everything else, I love my friends. I love the people in my life. And then occasionally I just like to go to, watch a movie. So when it comes to the creative stuff, no, I don't think I would ever do something solo. I would always bring people in, and there's so much talent. That's one of the problems I like. There's too much talent and not enough roles. And we chock this one full of a lot of people. So I know we didn't even get everyone that I wanted. So more the merrier when it comes to projects.
Nice, man. Well, for sure, man. I'm sure everybody else would appreciate it. Everybody wants a piece of of a movie. So of course, I'm gonna go with Joe. The Dyngus film. I mean, of course, like I said, it's gonna be out there. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious, like mentioned earlier. As far as the name itself was what got my attention. The fact that I found out what it was, and I'm like, okay, like San Antonio, for the most part, we celebrate everything. We party because it's Tuesday and it's 80 degrees, right? It's whatever it takes. Now, I had asked Jesse earlier, and I mean, of course, he still doesn't even know he's in the movie. I'm sure, he's still he's still trying to figure out what Dyngus Day is. But for yourself, I mean, do you guys is there something that you personally grew up with? I mean, celebrating, I mean, with family and friends?
No, not really. I do, because I did grow up in this area, so I do remember high school. It's like the Monday after Easter, coming to school, and kids were running around with pussy willows. So that's my only memory of Dyngus Day, really. Nothing personal from my own family.
Okay, and the reason I'm asking is because, of course, I mean, as of now, because you already, we're all getting educated and we all know what it is now. Is this something I had talked to Golden and McGinnis and, of course, Mike about the movie, making it something that people can come back to every year. Do you think this is going to motivate you to celebrate the holiday a little bit more?
I was not ready to watch the movie.
Well, I mean, and that's one of those things. I mean, of course, for the most part, I watch films out there, and I'm a fan of, big fan of horror comedy when it comes to movie. That's my forte. That's what I like. I personally, for example, like Return of the Living Dead is one of my go-tos. Of course, it's just classic. It's funny, character, everything. For me, music is a big thing. I mean, music is pretty much what hooks me right away. I mean, of course, the storyline. But I'm gonna ask Heather. I mean, when it comes to music, for this film, I mean, of course, and I'm guessing that you guys already know as far as what music's gonna be playing. As far as
I mean, I can take a solid guess based on the short that we filmed before. I imagine it's going to be heavy in polka, or I don't know. I'm picturing some accordion, something awful.
That'd be very cool. It's polka and some our versions of like a holiday songs that we have.
No, yeah, because I know we had talked before, and you had mentioned as far as the band having made something for the film itself, so that's cool. Now, Heather, I mean, being that the soundtrack is going to be heavily influenced by accordions and polka and dancing, and you yourself, I mean, what's your music when it comes to say you wake up in the morning? I mean, what kind of music do you normally listen to?
Oh, I have all kinds of Spotify breakdowns. They analyze me to no end. But in general, I love my emo music and metal. Depends on, how energetic I feel, but those tend to be my go-tos. My favorite band is Fall Out Boy. They have a certain way of making you feel good about being sad, and I'm about it.
That's funny you say that, because I always tell people like myself, I mean, I'm older, I grew up with new wave and the whole 80s, 90s, and for me, if I'm in a bad mood, I listen to something from Morrissey or The Cure, or something that's gonna, for some reason, that's gonna drag me down to where I can't no more, and then I just get back up. I don't know, it's weird, but I always thought it was just me, but it's not, so that's cool. But of course, I mean, music, soundtracks, storyline. When it comes to writing, Paul, let me ask you: does music influence you when you're writing?
Not currently. I do have to say, I as a theater guy, one of the things we've all talked about is I'm a big musical lover, and I want to do a musical so bad one day. Killer X got a musical number in it. We're working on putting a musical number in this. I would love to do just straight up musical one day. I don't have the writing talent. Music never really drives me to write per se. It drives me in other aspects of life. But that I just get inspiration from the world around me.
Nice, man, nice. And of course, you got a bunch of good wacky people out here to keep motivating you, man. And I mean that with all due respect, of course. Everybody's got to be outside their box. Let me go, Golden. I mean, let me go up to you, sir. Of course, being the actor, having worked on films, and I think it was sound cinematography.
I'm a cinematographer in this one. I've done sound before, but that was on the movies that we were doing. We had to wear all the hats at once.
Yeah. Now let me ask you. I mean, of course, music. I mean, I had us, Paul, as far as the influence for you when you're out there and you're working. I mean, what is it that gets you going? I mean, what influences you mentally, like to get the juices going?
I mean, I love doing creative stuff. Paul can attest to that because anytime I'm feeling like lower, all of a sudden I'm just like sending him 20 different script ideas for different shorts that I've come up with that make no sense half the time. But I love doing creative stuff. So like when it came to be for me to take over cinematographer for this, I went like deep into watching all these different videos on different ways to light things, and I've come up with like different ideas, and I can't draw at all, so like storyboarding wasn't working out. So I used my He-Man action figures and just like sent an example of a shot to Paul, just like with the He-Man action figures, and I was played by Beastman in that one because I thought it was fitting. But yeah, I love just the creativity, the working, the way our team is. We're like I brought it up to us being like a diesel engine. Like it takes us a while to get warmed up. Then once we do, we're like taking off, and just like we're talking to Mike and Paul and Kristen and anybody else on set and like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And just that working together drives me like big time. Like I get so excited about it, and it's usually the point where I can't sleep after we're done because I'm just so wound up, but I'm also exhausted and I want to sleep, but I can't. So
Now, how do you think Paul feels, man, from all your ideas, man? He's over here brain scrambling. So
he's still to the point where he's like nice about it. I'm sure there'll come a time when he's just gonna be like, just you need to stop. You just stop right
that's where that wall comes from that he was talking about earlier, man. He wants that big wall, you know. Now, it's funny you bring up action figure because this is a question for everybody. I'm gonna go up real quick. If you were an action figure, what one accessory would you have to come with? And of course, I'm gonna start with Joe.
As myself or as the character?
No, as yourself. Like, say if you're.
Oh,
like
the other one was easier. I have no idea. Probably a water bottle. I drink a lot of water. I've been criticized for.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's cool. I can see that. Now, of course, I'm going to move on. Paul, what about yourself?
I don't know if I'd come up with an accessory, but I'd be able to transform into stuff.
Oh, nice. I like that one, man. And now, let me ask you this: what would you transform into?
Darn it! I did not expect this to go this way. I'd come with a cape.
Nice. I can see that. There you go, man. There you go.
I thought for sure you'd go alien.
Man, we're gonna go with Mike. Well, what about yourself, man?
My action figure would probably have an interchangeable scowly face. There's just two expressions: smile and then just a blank death stare.
No,
Like Mr. Potato Head.
Exactly.
You can make him angry or bored. One of the two.
Two options.
Honey, give me my angry eyes.
Man, that's cool. That's a good one, though. And Heather, what are you thinking?
Mine's gonna be caffeine. I always have an energy drink on me. Usually Monster. Recently, I'm into those ghost ones, but yeah, probably caffeine.
Sweet, sweet. Mark?
I think my action figure would come with action bills, because I have to pay.
Nice. Yeah, I can see that, man, definitely. And we're gonna go with Jesse. What are you thinking, sir?
I'd say like various snacks and like a case of Dr. Pepper.
Man, well, we gotta tag Dr. Pepper, man, because they sponsor this one announcer for Bare Knuckles. So maybe they can sponsor you, man. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
And Golden, we're gonna save the one that influenced this question, man. So what do you got?
Mine would be a sleeveless shirt just so Paul can nag me that I'm gonna be cold.
You see, and that's the accessory should be a sweater. That way you can put it on.
Armed prison. I don't like armed prisons at all.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Man, now of course, once again, man. I mean, this is the movie. Like I said, I'm excited about watching this. We talked about the music as far as the storyline, of course. Being written. If there's one thing, and this is not to, say change the script or change, but when it comes to your character, let me one question. I mean, what would you add or do differently when it comes to your character? I mean, say if they were to say, you get to change it up a little bit. And I'm gonna start with Jesse, man. What would you do?
Add more eggs, I'd say.
Oh, man.
Different
Done.
kinds, scrambled, hard boiled.
Ostrich.
Deviled.
Man. No, I'm gonna skip and I'm gonna go with Joe. What are you thinking?
Oh gosh. Oh. I see, because I actually added the thing that I wanted to add to my character, which was like I didn't have like a reporter. I didn't have an affiliation. I was like, can I make up some dumb name, and they actually let me do that. So
Well, that's cool. I mean, that's good. I mean, they did mention that earlier as far as letting you guys influence the characters. So that's cool. I'm gonna go up with Mark.
All right, yeah. My character is this very smarmy mayor that peaked in high school, that hired, a bunch of his friends to, work for the government for him. So I think he'd be great with like a really nice, like decked pimp cane, maybe like a monocle.
There you go, man. There you go.
Yes, a pocket watch, that kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
Filipino style.
Yes. Be like the Monopoly guy, man. So that I can see that. That's actually cool, man. Cool. Now, Heather, what do you got for us?
Well, I think it's a crime that I play a cheerleader and I don't get to do a cheer. And I think I brought it up on the one day of filming that we had, that Paul should write me a cheer. So I'm waiting on that.
It's not too late.
Make it musical.
You never know. You might have to start getting used to the jump or something. So that's pretty cool. I mean, we'll see. But yeah, of course, once again, I did want to ask random questions. We're gonna go ahead and basically, just to see. I mean, for the most part, Mark said, he jumped in late to, he's the newest guy out here, so he'll probably be the least to know as far as other, questions. But I'm just gonna be random now. Paul, I'm gonna ask you, when it comes to Golden, what do you think he would prefer as far as dessert, man? Is he a cake guy or a pie guy?
I think he's a pie guy. I really feel that I can see him just destroy a pie where he takes the cake politely.
I would guess the same.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I'm definitely a pie guy.
There'd be no mercy on a pie. There would just be a flurry of movement and then just a sad-looking pie tin. He probably ate some of that too.
I was gonna say I agree, but man, that's cool. That's good. Now, of course, I'm gonna go with Joe. I'm gonna ask you. I mean, Heather did mention caffeine earlier. I mean, do you think she would prefer a hot coffee or iced coffee?
iced coffee.
Heather, what do you say?
It really depends on the day. I go energy drink on my work days because it's easy to just grab a can, but on the days that I have off, I always start my day with coffee, and it really just depends on the weather, whether it's hot or cold. I don't know. I'm calling it a tie. It's about 50-50 which one I pick.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm in Texas, like I mentioned earlier. It's like 100 and something, and yeah, like if I'm at work and it's like hot, then yeah, I go for a nice coffee because I'm already sweating, so definitely makes sense. I'm gonna go with Mike. I'm gonna ask you this, of course, when it comes to breakfast. What do you think? How do you think Jesse likes his eggs, man?
I would say he likes a buffet of them. Hard boiled, mostly hard boiled. It's a lot easier to manipulate. Hard boiled has a lot of good uses.
And Jesse, do you like eggs? Let me ask you that, bro.
I do. I do love eggs. I just feel bad because I can't eat them around like my niece because she's definitely allergic. Like, oh, get away from me! I need to have my fun and eat my eggs.
Nice. I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say not after this. Not after filming the movie.
But how do you eat them, Jesse? Are they scrambled? Over easy? I need details.
They're scrambled, obviously.
Scrambled.
Nice. Now let me ask you real quick, man. I'm gonna finish that question. Ketchup, man. Do you put ketchup on your eggs?
I've done it once.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, because that's a thing here. I would assume. So I'm guilty of that. I don't know why, but it's just one of those things in life. So okay, I'm gonna go on. As far as I'm gonna ask Golden. This is a question for yourself. Mark, I mean, he talked about his character in the film. I mean, being the mayor. If he would have run for office, do you think he would make for a better president or a vice president?
I think he'd make a good president.
I'll
I
vote
mean,
for him.
other than putting all of his friends in the cabinet, but he's very much a people person. So I think he's got the charisma that it would take,
Nice,
and I think that was a big part of why we went with him, and because we could get him to grow that sweet little mustache there.
Yeah, and of course he'd be the president, man. I'm pretty sure he'd be able to fund future films, so that'd be pretty cool. And now, of course, questions. Let me ask you, Mike. I asked you the one earlier, so I'm going to ask Joe as far as Mike. Now, of course, Mike, the sexy director. If say if he were in the film, do you think he would portray better as far as a comedian or as far as a drama film? Let me ask you, one of the two. I mean, knowing his character and having worked with him, do you think he'd be more comfortable in a comedy or a drama? And this is for Joe. I'm sorry.
Okay. Wasn't sure. And who am I asking about?
For Mike.
Mike. And a comedy or a drama? Thank you, Paul. Yeah, I would say comedy.
That tracks. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, yeah, man.
He's
I mean,
a fun person, so. I'm
sorry?
He's just has a fun personality, so I think it would be a better fit.
No, for sure. Now, of course, guys, I mean, this is one of those things. I mean, having worked with each other, I mean, you guys will get more comfortable around each other. Future films, I mean, of course, are going to be always a plus. I mean, for the most part, and I know here locally, I mean, it's always filming, close to home, so it makes sense. You don't get to leave the house too far. But say random questions, of course. Say, Mark, if you were to write a film, and Jesse, I mean, would you either have him as a villain or the hero for that film?
Oh, he's got a villain vibe. I see it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, but that's also like my favorite kind of character to portray. It's just, I find it like deeper,
There you go.
because they think they're right. They always think they're the good guy, even if you're the bad guy.
Yeah, you see, yeah, I like that. I mean, put him in a suit and tie, man, and you won't be able to tell, but he'll creep on. So I can definitely dig that. Guys, I mean, when it comes to questions, and this is an open forum, is there something like, say, Golden, is there somebody in here that you would like to ask a question to, man? Something that you're curious about?
Just put right on the spot.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, 'cause I feel like I'm pretty open, so I usually just ask people whatever I want to ask them, and then just deal with the consequences.
May I search our chat history? One time Golden asked me.
I guarantee, as many times as I've worked with Heather, I have asked her something that sounded horrible because I don't think about how things sound. I just throw it out there, and then I was probably like, "Oh, wait."
Yeah, I've been there myself, man. You gotta kind of, people mistake, when it comes to questions. So, but yeah, I mean, so of course, I mean, you guys have worked together, so I'm pretty sure you guys have, know each other pretty well. So well that, of course, I think I had asked earlier, Golden. I mean, Paul's middle name.
Yes, it's Augustus. You go with what I say it is, Paul.
You're right now.
I don't know. Paul, I don't think has ever told me his middle name because he doesn't want me to use it when I'm drunk and start yelling it at him, full name him, because I would.
I had 3 last names.
Yep. Yes, Mick, Gin, and Is.
No.
And he just smushed them together.
I
I know you like the back of my hand. See?
Oh, that's new.
Man, well, guys, man, I do thank you all. Thank you for jumping on this. Like I had mentioned, I mean, there's something, the film itself, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be following everybody as far as, for the most part, everybody is on Instagram, right? I know I already follow a few of you guys. So I'm going to be following y'all up. Man, I mean, is there anything you all want to say, man, before we wrap this up? And we'll start with Joe. I mean, is there anything? Well, let me ask you this. Why should everybody watch this film?
Oh, it's gonna be a good time. if you want to have fun, you should watch this. Yeah.
Cool, man. And Paul, of course, I mean, you're going to be biased, but I mean, why should everybody watch this film?
It's just it's got more talent than any other film out there,
Nice.
and just and it's going to be funny, and it's gonna make you want to laugh, and it's going to move you, and you're going to put Dyngus Day in your heart and follow it throughout the year, all the things that it taught you.
Sweet. And of course, we're going to jump over. I mean, Heather, I mean, what are you thinking?
As far as how.
Yeah, I mean, why everybody should, as far as when the film comes out, like, why should everybody go watch?
The same thing everyone else is saying. It's going to be a good time. It's full of shenanigans. I absolutely love the way that the September Brothers fill a theater and the energy that their audience tends to bring. So I definitely encourage everyone to go to the premiere because it's definitely best experienced among other people experiencing it.
No, for sure. And of course, I'm gonna go to Mike last, but Mark, I mean, tell us. I mean, everybody, of course, everybody's having fun with this film, making it. So people, why should they go out there and watch it?
I think people should come and watch it because it's like Dyngus Day is a lot of historical ties with Buffalo. We're kind of known as like the Dyngus Day capital. And at least from what I know, we celebrate it the most. And adding a new holiday to your calendar is never a bad thing.
No, especially if we can get the day off from work, man. So yeah, I'm pushing for that for sure, man. Now, of course, Jesse, tell us, man.
I think everyone should go see this movie. It's gonna be great, hilarious, awesome cast, awesome people. Just get people really into Dyngus Day. Just whack each other with pussy willows and all that.
Nice.
Pleasure.
Golden, what do you got for us, sir?
I'm gonna make it one better and say not only should you watch the movie, but you're gonna need to watch it multiple times. While doing cinematographer, I've gotten to where I just stare at the screen and I don't hear anything going on, but I'm watching everything, and multiple times now, just little things that people were doing that weren't main stage, I've almost ruined takes because of it. Heather, for one, was doing these facial expressions during a take, and I just happened to look at the right time and catch it. And I had to turn away and try to walk away quickly before I had started laughing. And that didn't help because Paul was looking at me to keep from laughing. And then when I did that, he almost lost it. So, I mean, I think because of the amazing talent that we have in front of the camera and letting them just go with their characters, everybody at any time, if they're not the main focus, are still doing something that you need to watch. And you're going to miss stuff if you only watch it once. So yes, you're going to have to buy the DVD and just keep watching it.
No, for sure. I didn't think about that, but yeah, man, I mean, definitely go back and watch and catch stuff that, you might have missed. So of course, in the last, Mike, what do you got for us, sir?
Kind of similar to what everyone has been saying. It's just going to be an absolutely fun movie. Even people who've never heard of Dyngus Day, I think, are really going to enjoy it. It's funny. It's just a good time. It's just like Krampus, any of those fun movies people watch around Christmas time. Normal people, I guess, would watch Krampus. Yeah. But people watch it yearly on Dyngus Day to be their tradition. It'll give them a good excuse to drink and watch something like, I drink Dyngus Day. Of course you drink. And we're hoping it would be kind of cool to see Dyngus Day, outside of Buffalo, like see other people kind of talking about it and finding out what it is. Like you yourself, you never heard of Dyngus Day. So that would be cool to see all the way in Texas. Now someone knows about Dyngus Day. I would like to see other random states in the U.S. and wherever else start to hear about Dyngus Day from this.
Sweet, man. No, yeah, and I'm definitely going to be promoting it at work, man. I'm going to see. I know this week, 4th of July, we have the day off, so I'm going to see if we can get Dyngus Day off next year, man, with pay. So I'm going to work on that. But man, everybody,
president, that would happen.
There you go. You see, that's how you got my vote, man. Definitely. But guys, girls, ladies, I appreciate y'all for jumping on here. Of course, I thank you for your time. Looking forward to y'all's work. I'm going to be following you guys, like I mentioned. Looking forward to more projects, see what else is up for you guys. But don't hang up yet, everybody out there. Of course, once again, this is Spider Coming Soon Podcast. Dyngus Day, the film crew out here. Appreciate you guys. Till next time, follow up.